Hi there, my name is Dr. Ryan Bell, and I'm the owner of Bell Family Chiropractic. We're located in West Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm excited that you're watching this because you want to know what chiropractic is and why we think it's so awesome. The first thing I want to ask you is, what do you think a chiropractor does? If you're like many Americans or many people around here, they think that all we deal with is back pain, that we crack necks and we pop backs, and if you go and try to bend down and pick up something and you hurt yourself, then you go see a chiropractor. That's what you do. And that's true. We do a real good job when it comes to fixing back pain. That's why we're known for that. But if you were to step into our waiting room or into a waiting room of many of the chiropractors around here and you talk to the people there, you would hear a different story. You would hear that the majority of them are coming for different reasons. And some of those reasons are they have a hard time sleeping at night, so they sleep better when they see a chiropractor. We've got children that come, and it can be because they have ADHD, and when they get adjusted, it helps them to focus better. Or maybe someone's dealing with some digestive issues, and they get adjusted and they start digesting their food better. It can be headaches. It can be a numerous list of things. There's all kinds of things that can happen when people come and see a chiropractor. And we're going to talk about why that happens and what we as chiropractors do to help that happen. So what you first need to understand is the basis of chiropractic. And the whole idea behind chiropractic is that God created you to be a self-healing organism. So if you cut your finger, it takes care of itself. If you break a bone, it starts laying new bone. If you get a virus or a bug, you create antibodies to fight that. Your body is smart. It knows what to do to take care of you. And we call that innate intelligence. And we think that the way your body uses the innate intelligence is through your brain and your nervous system. And if you notice here, your brain is right here, all right on top of your spine, and then your nervous system, which has your spinal cord and all these nerves that go to all the different organs in your body, are in these vertebrae. And so we think that that your body is controlled by those. So your brain and your nervous system control and do everything in your body. And so when you think about your cardiovascular system, you might think about your heart and say that's the most important part of your cardiovascular system. We'd say no, it's your brain and your nervous system. Or you might say, well, in order to breathe, the most important thing with that would be my lungs, right? Your respiratory system, the most important part is your lungs. And we would say, no, it's your brain and your nervous system. And here's a real good example of this, is think about something that makes you nervous, whether it's speaking in front of people or having a big sporting event you're going to, your team's playing in the championship, or just waiting to hear bad news, whatever it is, something that makes you nervous. What starts to happen? Your heart starts to beat faster, right? And you start breathing more shallow. And that's because those are controlled by your nervous system and your brain. As you think about stuff, as you start to have stress about it, it affects the different organs in your body. And for all of us, we are just filled with a life full of stress. And that stress can be emotional, whether it's thinking about the loss of a loved one or all the things you have to do for work. It can be chemical stresses in our body, whether it's eating junk food all the time or the water you drink or the air you breathe, or it can be physical stress, just kind of what we think about bending down and picking up something and pulling your back. It can also be sitting for long periods of time. They say sitting is the new smoking. All right, all that stuff causes stress to your body. Now, stress isn't necessarily bad if we can adapt to it. So if you think about it like this, like my ability to adapt to stress is here, and the stress I'm dealing with is here, I'm okay. I don't have any issues. I can adapt to it. I can calm down. Everything's good. But unfortunately for us, our stress is up here, and our ability to adapt to it is down here. And when that starts to happen, a lot of the illness and disease that we have happens. And I've got a perfect example of this in my grandma. So my grandma was a caretaker for my grandfather, and he had Alzheimer's, and they knew it was coming, and they made all these plans, and it just eventually got to where it was too hard for her to take care of him. He was up 3 to 4 times a night. She wasn't getting sleep. It was affecting her health. So it was time for him to go to memory care. Now, she had it all planned out. The memory care unit was right next to where her building was, where she was living. So she was able to go see him every day. She was able to take care of him. But she started having gastrointestinal issues and also heart issues, which she never had before in her life. She never had any of these issues. She was healthy for her age. And then when she put my grandfather in the memory care, she started having all these issues. And it's because she was worried. You ever heard, you worry yourself sick? She's stressed. She's stressed that someone else was taking care of her husband. And as I was talking to her about this, she said it's not uncommon. She had 2 or 3 other friends who had just recently put their husbands in memory care, and they were dealing with the same situation. They were having conditions pop up that had never happened before. Now you might be thinking, hey, I don't deal with a lot of stress, right? Well, you do. Okay, we can't leave our work ever. We're always checking our phones. We're getting emails all the time for work. We've got our cell phones, so we're getting calls constantly. If you have kids, I've got 3 kids. I've got a 4th one on the way. That's stressful right there, let alone having to get them to all of their sporting events, having to wake up early and get them to school. As I said before, you got physical stressors. We don't work out enough. We don't move enough. We're sitting too much. The food we eat, it's just a lot easier to eat junk food or get fast food than it is to make something healthy. All right, so we've got chemical stressors there. And then when it comes to our kids, I said we have kids, a lot of kids that come to us and get adjusted. And that's because they're dealing with stress from a very, very early age. If you've seen the birthing process, that's stressful. If it's a C-section, ripping them out by the head, that's very stressful on them. As a child learns to walk and crawl, they fall down, they hit their head, their stress is there. And then as they get to school, they're worrying about tests, they're worrying about homework, they get on social media, they're worrying about what their friends are doing and trying to look cool for them, let alone the sports. And then we've got text neck, right? Like this. That's a physical stressor. When we're like this, that's causing stress on our body. So everybody has stress. You might be saying, well, what do we do about it? We're always stressful. And that's where I come in. As a chiropractor, my job is to remove the lifetime of stress, whether it's physical stress, emotional stress, chemical stress that you've been experiencing, and help you remove it and deal with it. So your stress level's up here, your ability to adapt to it's here, and we're going to bring your ability to adapt to it here and your stress level here. And when we do that, a lot of the awesome things happen, all right? That's when you can actually sleep at night. That's when women who are infertile and can't have kids go see a chiropractor. A couple months later, they end up being pregnant, all right? There's just all kinds of awesome stuff that happens when our body is able to function how God made it to function. So our job is to remove that stress in your life. And we do that through finding and adjusting and removing subluxations. You might say, ooh, what's a subluxation? That's a big word. And it is, but it's pretty easy. A subluxation is when there is interference in your brain and your nervous system, which we just talked about, right? That's caused by stress. And we saw some of the things that stress causes when there is interference in your brain and your nervous system. And when there is interference in your brain and your nervous system, that leads to vertebra not moving properly. That's the way your body was designed. And if you look at it, that really does make sense. If your brain is here, your nervous system is here, what's protecting your nervous system? Your spine. And that's why us as chiropractors, we can do something that not many people can do, and that we can influence your nervous system and your brain through adjusting your spine, because that's where it's all encased, that's where it is, and all these go to all of your organs. So as we adjust you, as we remove subluxations, which everyone has because everyone deals with stress, in turn, your ability to deal with the stress, to adapt to the stress, gets higher than the stress, and you're able to calm down, and your body's able to function properly like it should. You might be a little bit worried saying, well, I don't want to be popped, I don't want to be cracked. The great thing about chiropractic care is that there's many different techniques, okay? And here at Bell Family Chiropractic, we have a tool called the Pull Start. It's connected to a computer. It's very accurate, very specific, and it's got 2 little prongs, and I can adjust the force. I've seen it used on a newborn while the baby was sleeping, and the baby stayed asleep while he was being adjusted. So the tool can be used all the way from newborns, all the way up to adults, all the way to the elderly. There's no pops, there's no cracks. And if we think, hey, we need to use a little bit more force, then we'll do something manually and we'll use our hands. But our goal is always to use as little force as we can to get the best results we can. And if we need to use more force, we can do that. So you never have to worry about that. So as you can see, we all deal with stress. We all have subluxations. And as a chiropractor, my job is to help you better deal with that stress and remove those subluxations. And that's why we think you should have regular chiropractic care. Because as you know, we'll always deal with stress. We'll always have another appointment to go to. We'll always have kids that we need to take care of. But we've made it here at Bell Family Chiropractic easy and affordable for you to get that for you and your family. Just give us a call at 865-383-7730. That's 865-383-7730. Or you can visit us online at bellfamilychiro.com. Thanks.